Welcome to Arts District. I'm your host, Carrie Saldo. Science can be confusing, but so can love. The one-woman show Einstein's Girl looks at the weird science that is dating in the 21st century. The show's formula is the work of Colorado native Mora. The show includes original music, jazz standards, and stand-up comedy, all centered on science and technology. She spoke with me in our studio.
Oh, Internet, you're the only love that's true. Internet. Oh, Internet, I'd make out with your face. So later tonight, let's meet up in cyberspace.
Mora from Einstein's Girl, actor, singer, and writer. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So Einstein's Girl, using, it's this critical mass of music and humor and academia.
Yes.
When you have approached venues and said, so I have this show and I'm going to talk about binary code and E equals MC squared, they kind of look at you a bit strangely. What's the reaction you're getting from people?
The thing I think is hardest is that it gets attached to the word cabaret, which I think has a lot of negative connotations, because we think of, I don't know, either beatniks with turtlenecks and, blowing out candles and snapping. Yeah, exactly. We think really bad, or we think, diva songstress stuff, which I'm closer to that end of it for sure. But when I talk about the show, they're very confused because they don't know that their audiences will be able to follow. And what I try and explain is that that's the entire point of this, is to bring this to audiences that have not ever delved into this world and to give them a glimpse into it.
It's poetry in motion.
I'm a scientifically minded girl.
Turn his tender eyes to me.
Surely there is a formula to love, right?
As sweet as any heart.
The more I read about physics, the more I found it could be used as this extended metaphor for love in the 21st century. And suddenly the whole show was born.
So your undergraduate degree is in screenwriting. Did you have any sort of a science background before you decided to jump into this?
Absolutely not. In the game of theoretical physics, I am a fantasy league player. I know nothing really and truly a spectator of this amazing work.
There's a burgeoning new field called quantum computing. And thanks to the wacky laws of quantum mechanics, things can be in more than one state at a time, which means the data can be processed very, 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 very quickly, leading, of course, to the inspirational breakthrough of faster download times for internet porn.
Because you didn't have a science background, but now it's a really big part of what you're doing and how you're sort of making a living. Has science become something that you really want to be more accessible? Because math and science can be incredibly off-putting.
Right.
It can be like art in many ways.
Absolutely.
Where people say, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Therefore, I want nothing to do with it.
You're right. Abstract art and mathematics or, heavy-duty literature. I have a joke in the show that the only thing more dense than understanding quantum mechanics is understanding James Joyce. Those are two, like you said, two very inaccessible things, right?
I think the music and the humor can help get at that accessibility piece that you're trying to achieve. Yeah. Did you consciously set out to use them as tools, as entry points?
Yes, to disarm, absolutely. Because I think the second you start kind of didactically speaking about science, everybody just turns off.
A team of scientists in London were able to grow a hamburger in a petri dish. Baking me a baby ain't too far away, folks, right?
I think advocacy coming from someone who is a non-scientist is also an important part of why the show works, because I don't have the bona fides to be talking about this. So it also tells other people that they don't have to either. They don't have to be an expert to get, abstract art. They don't have to be an expert to get the Big Bang. And also the idea that you can be female and feminine and still be interested in these things, that it doesn't have to be this other kind of stereotypical nerd girl, glasses and mousy hair and all of that, that you can have the glam and the goof and the geek all in one thing, and that's one person and that you all can be that.
So one of the songs in the show is E equals MC squared, where you're kind of chatting with Einstein.
Yeah.
And I wondered if you would mind singing maybe a bit of that for us, give people a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a dream late last night about Albert Einstein, with his crazy hair, his untied Oxford shoes. I said, oh, Mr. Einstein, got a question giving me the blues. Tell me, what is love? And he said, well, my girl, I know a lot about physics, and I have studied me a little bit of chemistry too. But nothing in mathematics can explain love's boogie-woogie for two.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Thank you.
What's artistic process like for you? Because, you know, you're the triple threat. You sing, you act, you dance, but you also write the show. You know, your work is so multifaceted. Is there any one particular medium that really you start with when you're approaching kind of the larger work?
That's a great question. When I sing, I think I feel most connected and most alive. So I think the music drives everything. And in the arc of the show, as a narrative piece, the music is the emotional journey that we follow.
Fools in love gently hold each other's hands forever.
In your opinion, what can art do?
Art can change the world. I think art makes understanding bigger concepts much more accessible, because we do work in a world of metaphors, right? That's why poetry works the way that it does, is that you can take something that you understand, that you can wrap your brain around, and use that as a metaphor to explore something you don't know anything about. And suddenly, that thing that was scary or inaccessible becomes something familiar and understandable. And doing this through art, I think, can open up worlds to people who may otherwise kind of stay away from something because it seems too much or too scary or too boring.
Well, Gia Mora, thank you so much for being here. Einstein's Girl is in theaters across the country.
Yeah, thank you very much, Carrie.
To learn more about Gia Mora and Einstein's Girl, check out our Facebook page.
Arts District is a collaboration between Rocky Mountain PBS and public radio stations KUNC and KUVO KVJZ.